Good afternoon. I think this is a very interesting session, and I think the dignitaries on the dais are well experienced on that. I'm the one who is having a less experience on the gear side of it, but I do have experience of buying gears. So, uh, with this, I will give you just a background where we stand right now in terms of component export and export worthiness of India across globe. So if you take a component export in India in 2025, we have a $69 billion worth of component export which happened in India. This is a recent research we did it in Cummins, and we realized that out of that where we stand. The logic was behind that is where Cummins stands on component export. And out of that, $20 billion is with respect to, you can say, transmission components, okay? And what is happening is between transmission and electrical engine component. Now there is a second wave coming is on EV side, which is eating away the market. And so now the ball is on manufacturing side is how we have couple of challenges. We are all aware of challenges, but there are key advantage India has as compared. We always compare ourselves with China, right? This is our biggest competitor in terms of export. But at the same time, what we realize is we have a skilled labor, a very cheap cost. We have a technology which is much more advanced. We can meet all the global standards in India. Also, we have right now appetite. Government infrastructure is growing. PLI schemes, which are helping us to support from R&D side. But with this as a baseline, I will now throw discussion to the panelist. I will ask first question to Parag, Mr. Parag. Since you are in business development vertical, what are the key challenges which India is facing to scale up the export market or demand or fulfill the export demand? What are the key challenges which India or our industry is facing right now?
Okay, so looking at the international market, currently what is being faced more and more is we all know that currently the world is looking for China plus one strategy, right? So normally the first comparison which comes from China is of course the cost. So cost being the first challenge to really meet the demand and be in par with what Chinese are supplying. Second thing, if you see that many of us are still having a kind of a domestic manufacturing setup where the repeatability of quality is one of the concerns. So we can scale up capacity, we can scale up the quality, but keeping it repeatable over and over the time is a bit difficult. And third, I think there are many, but I will restrict myself to the third one, which is the geopolitical issue. So nowadays, whatever is changing, the continuous tariff change and everything, what is happening, I think that is having a major impact because nobody is getting the direction in which we need to work.
You're exactly right, Parag. Thanks. So, moving to the next set of question connected with this on to Mr. Rakesh is since you worked on a company which is a growing fast company, right? Kalyani Group is going and diversifying in terms of every segment, right? They are into defense, they are into component export. Soon they may be launching helicopter also. We don't know, right? I heard that, okay, when I talked to Subodh. But what my question to you is how a new development when a RFQ is floated by an export customer to us, how we deliver a right first time product and what precautions we should take so that we will not have early life issues on the product deliveries. That may be on supply chain side, that may be on quality side, or that may be on understanding customer expectation on the three side. What is your thought process on that?
Correct. The thing is that specifically Kalyani Technoforge, our strategy is that we believe in world-class manufacturing. So whatever best available in the world on process front, on inspection front, so we adopt that technology. So earlier, as Parag has said, earlier there was a gap between the European or US customers who feels that Indian customer does not have a significant strategical thing as far as the quality is concerned. But whereas nowadays everything has changed, the world has come closer, and so Kalyani is believing that we want to invest more on innovation, more on new technological machines, new technological inspection things, and the second part, which is more equipped right now with our company, we are doing a co-engineering with customer itself. So that give a good confidence as far as the customer is concerned. So nowadays it is not customer and supplier issue. Right now we are doing as a partner. So whatever early issues which is happening earlier, so that can be curtailed down in the NPD stage itself. So initial launch would be quite good, and we are getting a good result out of it. So right now we are doing on a EV front more focused manner. So there we are finding more and more RFQ on faster track, and we are operating almost all major OEMs. So that the way we are putting our strategy. So new technology, there is no other thing what we are looking for. So we are focusing more on new technology, new inspection, new talent also, and of course right now the AI, real time data, that is more relevant, because whatever is happening in our company, that customer is knowing within a span of 1 minute. So he can aware about what is going on NPD front, on production front, and on quality front. So I think that will give us a good boost if India is operating like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rakesh. I move to Ashish, since he's a second generation entrepreneur, and I really applaud that you came into father's business. Nowadays, very rare things happens, because whenever I visit couple of suppliers, succession planning has become a big hurdle for us. Whenever we go, I see first as a big risk on the succession planning. So I really applaud, and hopefully your son will also come into business. Okay. With this, I have a question. Like this side, there are big companies who are putting a lot of investment on IoT and digitalization. But these kind of investments are, you can do that, but you are not going to get ROI out of it, right? You are in a space where you are in between MSc and MSME, right? So what are your thought process to meet same kind of quality output, or same kind of output what they are getting out of that huge investment, and still you will meet the same quality standard what they deliver? What are those thought processes, frugal ways of doing things? What is your thought process around that?
Can you hear me? Yeah. So, yes, it is a little difficult because the cost of all these things what Mr. Rakesh was talking about, to implement this in a smaller sector, means if we to implement IoT on 100 machines, and the difference of implementing the same on 10 machines, the cost impacts are quite different. But it is only about the thinking that we have to forget the cost as a parameter here. If this is needed, then you have to do it. So if you see, our company has always believed to invest in technologies which are state of the art, and we always had all the machines which are in the leading positions. So that is helping us to grow, and that also helps us to sustain these costs, what we are talking about, like smart factories or digitization, collecting the data from this. I know it is not easy for others, but if you have a clear thought process that if you want to reach the global market, then you have to think globally. You cannot start as something and maybe small steps, but these small steps have to be in what I would say. It has to be like a plan, a business plan for minimum 5 years. If you don't see the future of 5 years, then you cannot achieve what you really want. If you are only targeting 1 or 2 years, then this is not enough. There has to be a clear target for 5 years of growth, and that helps. Of course, the machine technologies, the selection of right machines for your products or for your goals is very important. It is not always necessary to have the fastest machine. It is also very important to see what we have to deliver and select the right machine. So this is something what I would say. The selection of all these things with your existing size and with the capability of scalability. So this will help everyone, every MSME to grow into one step higher.
Thanks, Ashish. Now I move to Mr. Mushtaq. I have a very different question. We have we have reached in an era where we are at the on the firewall, where human interactions with the machines are right now controlled by like cobots. We have a lot of cobots. We have digitization in place where human interventions we are trying to minimize, okay, as far as possible. But what I feel is for India, we have a huge population, right? And our population is growing. Hopefully, we have surpassed China very right, already passed, right? So, and my thought process was whether blindly following automation and digitization is good for MSME or SME industries, or we should trade off between automation, fully automation, or a semi-automation. What is your thought process on that?
That's a good question, but I think there's many ways to look at that. I share a lot of what Ashish says, also being second generation in the family, because unlike the larger corporations where we have seen this happen in the past, you go down one direction. If anybody here has a Porsche, you know that they've had to turn their systems around entirely because they banked on a technology which didn't quite pan out by really misunderstanding their clients. We don't have the luxury of doing that. Porsche is going to be here next year. Maybe the balance sheet won't look good, but they will sail through this one way or the other. We don't have the luxury of doing that. So I'd say, to answer your question, it really has to be a blend of what's available. And I looked around the room, and I think the youngest person here is actually Ashish's son, right? And to answer your question, I would say we're all a little long in the tooth. We're on the higher end of the spectrum there, because we need to first ask the people who are involved what they want. It's very easy for me to say, I've been working in the industry 20, 25 years. This is what I think. Off we go. We can do that, but is it of interest to the next generation? There's times I'm having a meeting with my team. They pull out their phones. Now, I know what I use my phone for, but I know for sure I don't use it for nearly as much as what they use it for. Perfect. Right? They're probably on 10 platforms at the same time. They've got their spreadsheets organized. They're probably still fixing up a dinner date at the same time. and they'll still continue to have a conversation with you about automation. So, in a nutshell, it would really depend on that, because a point that you raise about automation, etc., I honestly don't think we really understand where AI is going to take us in 10 years. We're just at the cusp, right? We're just beginning to even understand it. If you go back 15 years, everyone in the IT industry was talking about getting 3 screens in front of people.
Yes.
3 screens, your phone, your laptop, and what was the other one? Your tablet, was it? Today, it's 10 screens. You're sitting at a desk with 2 screens, your car has multiple screens, your kids have screens. So the question is, I'm not really sure that we know how quickly this is going to evolve. So you have to stay nimble and aware of it. But I can speak for ourselves. Are we presently interested in automation? Definitely.
Okay.
Does that mean I will need less people? Not necessarily. Because by having the people there, you can do a lot more. So we look at the output per square foot. We're a little bit landlocked. We don't have, like I said, the opportunity just to go have a plant elsewhere. So you really, really have to dial into, did you pick the right equipment, like he said? Are you on the right trajectory? Are you going to be a niche or a generalist? And then adapt it to that. So I don't mean to be vague, but the simple answer is it depends.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. I think you rightly said we required a customer ask should be very clear to us, and basis on that we should deploy and put investment across. And we should put AI in right way. Right now we are also putting a chat GPTs and our AI tools in failure investigation. When we throw the engine failure data to them, then the chat GPT comes and give me a full FTA, fault tree analysis. And that helps us in giving answers fast to the customer. That is where we can deploy AI, but we cannot deploy AI where human touch is important. Aesthetic. There are very many vision systems which are available in the market, but still I have not got a vendor who can check the aesthetic of my block and say block is okay or not. Okay. Still there is a challenge. But moving to the next topic, since we are on in the era where we have a Google AI conference recently happened, we have a lot of gadgets coming every day and day out on factories. We say factories of the future will be cobots, robot driven. But I want to ask Mr. Parag, how we can go back to basics, where we lag. Like when I went into shop floor, where my boss used to teach me FMEA, okay, failure mode and effect analysis, and how every failure mode we can brainstorm and put as a part of that RPN number, and then put a reaction plan to that. Now, in the era of this, what are those basic things which we should not automize or not automate? And what is your thought process around to keep people which are coming in from colleges? There are a lot of seminars happening. There are a lot of subjects I heard colleges are doing on AI, and they just don't know the basics, right? Statistical process control. We have a CUDA software, but if you put 8 statistical tests, which test is failing, people don't know. So my question to both of you, you can chime in, Rakesh, is what are the things which current industry lags on basics? I said back to basics. And what is your thought process around that? And how we can come over on those back to basics?
Okay, I think a very tricky kind of a question in an era of technology, but based on the experience, I will try to answer. So maybe a short question to all the audience. So just see that on the screen, you can see one garage from outside where you are taking your vehicle. It is just 40-45 years old with a very good mechanic. But if I see it for the first time, then it looks very shabby. Next to it is a garage which is very clean, superb. There are very slogans which are attracting to customers. So what's the first choice you will go? 1 or 2? 2. Yeah? So first is look matters. And this looks, if I then cascade this, the same information to the factories, then look matters. So first is technology can surely step up the output. But if you talk about cultures, then building cultures can definitely give us advantage of repeatability and consistency, which is now need of the hour. As Mr. Natu was also saying that the new college graduates are coming and they are not knowing about it. So the first thing what we can start to avoid this kind of a thing is upskilling, because they are coming from the college where the college curriculum and the industry curriculum is not 100% matching. There is always a gap. So based on that, we can have a customized training for all the people who are coming inside, and so that we can depute it. This can be a very structured process, right? So this comes under the people development. And I believe firmly that we cannot leave the people development only to the HR function, because they will only bring the people from the market as per our JD what is being mentioned, and they will just put that these people are given to you now. Now it's our duty to have the output from them. So the first job is to have upskilling of the people, getting them know-how about our process, our specification. That will at least give them the confidence that yes, I have something to learn about it, I have something to give out of it. And then if the questions are asked to them, they will definitely answer, because they have something which has got inside them as a part of training. Yeah.
Very good. Good. Rakesh?
Yeah, just continuation to Parag said regarding upskilling of the people. So what I believe, it is not only the AI or the automation which is required. We want to have a proper internship from engineering colleges, and that to be also have a specific. Mainly we can take example of Germany. Many people are doing a proper vocational training inside the company, and they run the machines, they do the designing, they do the quality checking. So this kind of things, at least in India, we should start immediately, because right now the scarcity of the good people is really there. As you rightly said, number wise we are quite good, but skilled people, that is where we are lacking right now. And specifically in gear industry, there are too much scarcity is there. We are getting people, but the good people is a really worrisome situation. So from our engineering colleges, we should tie up. I mean, company should tie up with engineering colleges, and we should get some vocational trainer, so that this good chunk of people we can get, and there we can intensify that particular training. Maybe it is gear, semiconductor, whatever it is, and we can specialize those people, and that will help us to have this scarcity issue resolved. This is what I believe.
Yeah, you can add.
So there is also one point which also came to my mind while I was listening to Rakesh. Is nowadays what we also see, maybe at least the large organization have been experiencing this a lot. So many of the meetings are carried in the office. I think that is one of the factor. So moving back to basic is one of the important thing. So at least one meeting for a fault finding, for a RCA has to be on the Gemba, right? And we have to have follow that, because that gives us many different perspective which we cannot get by sitting in the office and discussing with all the cross-functional team. So even a 15-minute structured meeting on the Gemba for doing the RCA will give us much output rather than just deliberating something in the conference room for 1 hour, 2 hour or 3 hours.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Thanks.
in that, engaging the people who are working, because the most person who is near to that machine, to whom the machine speak, is operator.
May I add one more topic here? There is also, like Parag said, that it is not only HR function to take care of the training. It is also us as engineers as well as management. We also have to see that we preserve some old technologies that we have. With the old technology, the earlier generation really learned something. And from this learning, we have the latest machines today. But if you use the latest machine today, you cannot learn the basics. So the basic technology must be preserved in our own companies, so that the new people who are coming in, they first should understand how difficult it was to achieve the qualities in the past. And this is where you learn why the new technologies are so in action, and why they are so liked in the market today. So this is also something what our like the management has to also think of. Old machines are scrapped out because people are not there to service them. So if we train our new maintenance people also on the old machines, then the old or the basic knowledge will stay in. Today, if we even if there are vocational trainings, the vocational trainings will be with the new CNC machines, where you press the start button, and the people will feel, or they expect that the machine has to do everything. But as an engineer, or the knowledge is then going out. This is what you started off, that how
Right.
we can go back to the basics.
So-
Then we need the basics.
Thanks. This is a very good point, Ashish, you have brought. Is bringing Gurukul back, or Pathshala. These are the names which comes to my mind in the factories where new entrants are coming and directly jumping on the CNC machine. Instead of that, they can play with those Gurukul mechanisms. So we have created a couple of Gurukuls in Cummins also. Now, on conclusion, I think on this question, I can say that basic is important. Going to Gemba, we always say visiting scene of crime is very, very important to nail down on the root cause. Otherwise, we will not be able to do FIR, right? Right. So this is what is important for all mechanical companies to remember, that we should work in factories. We should touch product by hand. Many times safety doesn't allow it in our plants, but still we get a touch and feel. Our all six senses, whatever we have, we should develop those, and that is what makes us a mechanical engineer, different than the rest of the ones. With this, I will go to the last topic, which I want to touch upon, the R&D spend. Okay, Mr. Mushtaq, like what I find is, when I visited China recently, I visited one of the supplier, and he was a piston supplier. Okay, and I went into their premises, and we were wanting a friction weld piston, FCD pistons from them. And if you know, friction weld requires a huge machine. The investment is in crores. And they were showing me 3 machines kept idle in front of me. And I said that, oh my God, you got 3 machines of FCD friction weld, which is a technology. And each machine cost around 10 crores, okay, Indian rupees. And I said that, how can you all afford that machines and not running that machine for a single day? Now, the point came is, the government spends a lot in China on R&D spend. Now, our government has realized very, very late, but recently realized that we should also increase a R&D spend on MSME and SMEs. They have those PLI link scheme, product-based schemes, all that. But what is your thought process on spending what percentage of your bottom line on R&D? And while doing so, what you will want to achieve in a say 5 year down the line?
You just have to do it. That's the answer.
So you
See, if you don't do it, you're not going to be relevant. 5 years ago, 7 years ago, we had a lot of green machines, and we had 3 options, as any company I think does. You either run it till you can't run it any longer, competition will overtake you, wind it down, or you have to step up. So we decided to do the last, which is just invest across the board in technology, much like what Ashish said. Very, very selectively, very, very precisely. Now, at the time, we looked high and low for any kind of government support and subsidies. It's just not, it wasn't there. And if it was so out of reach.
Correct.
It was you had to be building almost like a battleship in order to get anything. And at that point, if you can build a battleship, I think you've got enough resources for R&D. So it was a bit of a catch-22 situation. From a MSME's standpoint, if you don't invest and you don't keep putting that in, you're going to hit a wall. And that wall will differ for each of us, each company out there. But you have to make the change. Why do you update the iOS on your phone? Maybe they're forcing you or they're giving it to you for free, so to speak, but it's just an evolution. Much the same in our companies, we said we have to do that. One of the things that we do to keep, and this is an amalgamation of the things that we're speaking about, is we do very low volume parts. That keeps the people very nimble, the team. And there are times when they come and they ask us, why have you even taken this? It's a headache. And we said, because you're getting paid for the training. It's just another way to look at it.
Wow.
And ultimately, it's benefited us. So there's different shades of this. If you're going to wait and look for the help from the outside, it's not going to happen.
Perfect.
If you look at the US, if you look at Western Europe, the overall evolution, the Mittelstand, the training schools, the cultures, the apprenticeship, it simply didn't exist here. You had the NTTF down south, which is, again, I would say, a little lackluster. It's there. It does a very good job at what it does. But does it fulfill what your company is going to do? Absolutely not. For us, we have continually invested for the better part of the last 10 years with select machines each year. And it's obviously got to pay for itself. There's got to be an ROI on that. But the R&D that we do, so to speak, is almost the R&D that the customers want because we're doing low batches for them. So we're trying to blend the latest technologies, deep grinding, for example, where you would normally have to have a cutting machine, small volumes you can do with the advances in ceramic technology, as well as the machines themselves. So there's different facets to it, but fundamentally you have to find a way, and if you ask me, it's a given. What that amount is for each company may vary, but it needs to be so, right?
Thank you. Thank you. I think we have a time up. I think we have a 3 o'clock time, so we can close. But in conclusion, what I will say is, so India is rightly poised right now to take ahead with the global market. Okay, what we required is a right skilled labor, a talent pool which is coming from colleges, which requires a lot of integration and collaboration with the colleges. We Cummins open few colleges for women employees itself. We have Cummins Engineering College itself. We started. So what it does is we get a diversity pool very well, because some of the jobs I feel that women employees does better than us. Take example of inspection. Okay, I saw a couple of companies where only women employees are deployed in the final inspection area. Okay, and they do it relentlessly well. Okay, right, it's a natural instinct. And then what we required is, one is talent, second is how we rightly atomize ourselves. Right size automation is a mantra. It is not like we go behind Google and AI and mad about it, and then no return on investment, no thing, right? So that should be rightly judged. And then R&D spend. How we can become a part to print supplier to become a product supplier. How our R&D is not on parts, but how we can integrate a product, move on to the forward line of the supply chain. That also poise us to be in the right space. Otherwise, what will happen very, very soon, instead of China, Thailand and Vietnam and all countries of the Southeast Asia will very soon take over. So that is what I'm seeing. As small as Thailand or a Vietnamese place can produce a chip, a PCB board, which can suffer from Apple to all the car makers in the world. We were on the queue. We were the 100th most important customer for them, right? First was Apple, then Samsung, then all that, right? There was a time where this has happened. So a smallest chip supplier in Vietnam or in Southeast Asia has crippled the world. So also what what is important for us is how we collaborate with our colleges, the R&D institutions like IITs, how we can create those mentor-mentee combinations, the internship programs, which is also important for us to groom the talent. Otherwise, the talent which is right now is not ready, not factory ready. We need to train them for 2 years, and our factories and our bosses are not ready to wait for those many days. So in conclusion, this is India is rightly poised. We required a right talent. We required right size automation. We should go back to basics on few certain things and spend on R&D to make from print to part supplier to a product supplier. With this, I will end this session. Thank you very much, Mr. Ashish, Mr. Mushtaq, Parag and Rakesh. Hopefully the session was interesting to the crowd also. And thank you very much for attending.
Hello, my name is Gauri. My question is to you, Natu sir. When you are saying that becoming a scaling up or our new generation is not ready, so I would like to talk about when you are talking about scaling up, what competencies you are talking about are currently non-negotiable for the gear force, like for the generation, or what 5 critical competencies you could say that will define the future generation as a future ready gear force? I would like to understand.
So I will take one example. I recently went and did a campus interview in one of the Pune's premier college. I will not name the college name, but I asked the question to a mechanical engineer last year, do you know 3-2-1 principle? You heard of production technology book. I learned Hajra Chowdhury. In my long term, there is a book called Production Technology, and there is a first principle of fixturing, which is called 3-2-1, arresting degrees of freedom, right? That guy was not able to answer. I then asked, draw a single point cutting tool diagram and ask him to tell the backrake angle and why backrake is important. He was not able to tell. So tell me, if you are on 4th year and you do not know the 2nd year what you learn, then your base is very poor. And if the foundation is poor, you can build a lot of technologies and all that. Okay. But if the foundation weak, remotely you cannot imagine what factories is doing. Right now, I'm doing is I'm sitting in a corporate office and managing plant. How I can able to do that? Because I spent couple of years in the plant. And I worked with my own hand in 1st, 2nd and 3rd shift. And realized hard way that how the block is produced, how the head is produced. And then I deployed a QDOS system from Germany, which will give me a statistical process control on my tab and tell me that this is assignable cause, this head is rejected, this head is that. Okay, but the basic is correct. Statistical process control, you should know those 8 assignable causes of failing the statistical test. If you don't know that, then all those sugaring up, icing on the cake doesn't help. Your basic cake has to be good. So base quality is what I look for is, I check the basics all. I check about the academic background, okay? I check the mindset, because I can teach you all what I have, but I cannot teach you mindset. I buy mindsets. Whenever I go, I get a guy with a good mindset. I can teach them rest of the things in my factories. My factories are equipped with doing that. So these are the few qualities which I always see when I hire a guy from college, or that may be lateral hire, or that may be any hire. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rahul Sansare. I am working in GMJ Systems and Automation. So I have total 17 years of experience in the automation. So I am agreed with the Natu sir's guidance that we are lagging the fundamental knowledge and we are emphasizing on application knowledge. So same experience we are experiencing in our organizations. I'm giving one example. I'm asking a candidate which sensor is used for metal sensing. So he is saying proximity rather than inductive sensor. So in terms of qualitative and quantitative analysis, how we could proceed while selecting the candidates? That is my question. And as you said, the Gemba. So Gemba also I have experience. So for Gemba, whatever the necessary preparation is required, candidates are not able to attend that. Thank you.
So can you come back? What is your question?
My first question is capacity planning in terms of quality and quantity in,
Okay.
in the industry. And second one is fundamental knowledge is more important or application knowledge.
Okay, good. So
Thank you.
on first question, on the capacity planning piece, what we do typically is when we get the next year AOP from customer, we typically we know our current capacity and what is the flex which we have. And then we plan instruments, okay, and machineries. Recently we inaugurated one facility in Fulton, which is going to produce 60,000 blocks and heads for US market. And we have put around 1,200 crore in the plant. And how did you capacitize it? It is export, and we man the capacity. So we said that if we want to develop an export market, for export market, we put a Goodell line. No man is touching the product. The Goodell gantry is picking the part, going from machines to machine. We have mag machines. We have online SPC or a CMM which checks every block and head, okay, going out of the factory. And we have state-of-the-art washers from EcoClean. I was just telling before this discussion, we got 62 crore washer from EcoClean. Crazy. But this is the requirement and we got it. But this is extreme where the money is, you can invest in that space, right? Where you can invest capacity ahead of demand. That is what we have done. But there is another scenario which most of the companies are right now feeling, which is capacity is less and customer is asking more. Where right now everybody, most of the automotive, at least I am feeling that pressure in my plant. And that is where our frugal ways of managing capacities will come. Okay, frugal way of managing capacity and people is, what I did is I marked the critical machines with CTQ. We said that's critical to quality machines. So we designate few of the machines critical to quality, remaining machines are de-skilled. Okay, so we can call a contract labor and deploy in that CTQ, non-CTQ stations. So my temp versus permanent workforce ratio has drastically skewed. Okay, I can buy more temp and I can rely more on permanent with CTQ stations. This is one of the strategy where quality and capacity both are working together and deliver the whatever we do for customer. Then what we did is safe launch. Okay, we always called safe launch plans. What we do is we created a separate station. Whenever there is a capacity increase, there is a spill happens. We keep the product and customer gets the defect. So we created a customer protection checklist and we inspect through a tab-based, vision-based system. Okay, where the tab person will go on to each of the components and check the parts, even the wiring harness layout has been monitored through a vision system in our plant. Okay, so right size automation, okay, is also a mantra to go with when you are over capacitized and customer wants more. That is a mantra. So you have to fix where the issues are. On your second question is on Gemba, right? And before preparation of Gemba, what are kind of preparations, what we should do to avoid issues in the Gemba, right? So what we typically do is, the interesting part is, in quality we always say questions solves more problem than answers. Okay, you should ask right questions, then the problem is solved. Okay, so we are not getting right people to ask right questions right now in industry. Okay, So what we are doing is we are developing a SME pool for couple of commodities. Okay, like a rubber commodity, we have a SME. We have a forging bearing bushing is a commodity. We have a SME for that. What that SME does is he will be pulled in into whenever there is a failure, and he will ask right questions, and the project team will work on right questions. And then now a chat GPT bot we bought is which will help you on FTA. So what it does is you throw a problem to them and it will give you FTA. And now the team, what you need to do is you just scratch out the FTP with objective dense. But he doesn't ask you right questions. Okay, he will give you all laundry list of problem like FTA action items. But a guy who is like gray hair, no hair person should come and ask you right questions. And that is what is industry is lagging right now. So I wanted a guy who will ask me right questions on the shop floor. Okay, so that is another part which you should get a guy who will ask right questions and make a questionnaire, and then go to a shop floor and then solve the puzzle. Otherwise, shop floor visit will be chaotic. I'm telling you.
Yeah, good afternoon. I think you shared very rightful thoughts among the team. My question is like we are now into maybe industry 4.0, or we are in the era of automation. Like every industry is going into a new concept of automation. Like once you press the button, automatically job will done. Like what you said, that we need to go to the basics. Like every person who is working on a shop floor, of course, the new generation, they don't know about the basic of the machine, like what do you call the conventional machines, what we used to make gears on the machine. Now, next generation machine is only about you push the button and you will get the product. My question is how to retain or maybe uplift the skill of the person on the shop floor. Of course, Gamba is the one of the rightful method to make it, but like how do we uplift the skill? Like we don't have like maybe in a years we'll get like we will feed the report of a part into the machine and machine will take automatic correction. The person who is working on the machine, he don't know the basic of the machine, like what exactly need to be done, what exactly the parameter is. So can you just throw light how to retain or how to make that person skillful or more aware about the product or the machine or the process?
So right now, what is happening in India, our labor laws are so fluid. Okay, they are so fluid. It can get in this direction, it can get in this direction, depending upon the owner's appetite to consume that law. Okay, so you can get 70% temp, you can get 30% permanent, you can skew the ratio also. So most of our vendors are doing 70% temp, 30% permanent is the ratio what is in right now. Now with this, do you think that a 70% temp person who is coming to your factory, who has no integrity, he is aware that he is going to get chuck off after 9 months, right? Because you cannot continue with them beyond 9 months. Otherwise there will be the ESI, whatever, all those things will come into play. I don't want to go and discuss all of that. But what you should do is, when you are aware that you are going to remain with a temp force, then that temp force has to press the button. That should be your ask. And that is where your controls team, a maintenance team comes into play. And the skill set of your maintenance team has to be super duper good. Because if your sensors are not working correctly, you will have a tons of rejection piling at your end, because he is going to press the button and the parts are going to come out. The sensor maintenance is a great area of concern in automation factories right now. One sensor malfunctions, then tons of rejection goes. Okay, and we do not have controls team. The control engineers who works on those sensors, get the data, get it displayed somewhere where bosses sits. Okay, we require those people, and that is where you should put your money in. Don't put money in on a temp workforce. He will have in old days, in graduate training days, we used to say that 2 punch, 1 lunch, right? That is what they go with, right? So don't go behind them, okay? So work on areas where you can control. Okay, I always say, what is your circle of influence and circle of concern? There are a lot of concerns. Don't work on them. Whatever you can influence, work on that. Okay?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sudarshan Rao. I have retired from my active this thing. What I felt during the discussion was that the new entrant or the new graduates are not equipped with the industrial requirement. Does it mean that the curriculum that the engineering colleges are doing is going up north and we are asking for something down south? Now, how are we going to get over this? This is what I feel. If the industry giants put in some, inputs to the new entrant or the colleges, and because you find every 6 months you have an engineering college, a medical college.
Correct.
See, medical college is playing with life. Engineering college, you're not playing with anything. You're just playing with the capital that is invested by the industry. So there has to be somebody, some engineering, mechanical, industry who should take this rigorously, because I have seen, I'm from maintenance. You don't get a fitter.
Correct.
Forget fitter, even an engineer fresh from the college cannot tell what are the types of hydraulic oils that are there, what are the types of screws that you get, what are the types of gear, involute, and no, they cannot answer these questions. So the curriculum for the engineering students has to be revamped. Maybe, it's like that, you have to turn it upside down. This is, so what are we going to do about it? Because we will be only saying this.
Yeah.
Yesterday also there was this thing that the R&D is not enough. But there is no movement on that part. So what would you recommend or suggest?
So, in every company we do CSR, right? There is a compulsion to do CSR activities. What we do in Cummins is, many of our members go and teach in Cummins colleges, okay? And they are in the board of Cummins College so that they can harmonize the syllabus, what they are teaching. And we are tying up with a lot of IITs also. Recently we tied up with IIT Powai on the mechanical lab, where one of our R&D person was going regularly and trying to fine tune the curriculum, what is required for a diesel engine, what they should know about diesel engine. So I think all the industry has some share to share. Like, there are a lot of engineering colleges, like there are 15 engineering colleges in and around Pune. If every industry take one college and voluntarily goes there, they are going to welcome you. I'm telling you. I went to one of the college and they said that you come. We'll be happy to be in our board, and we will be happy to listen to you on what curriculum changes, because most of them are autonomous right now, right? They are not affiliated to any of the Pune University or something like that. So you should do your part. I think industry should not forget that the pipeline is going to get filled by colleges. I think we are forgetting that. We should not forget that, and we should do our CSR with that setup and try to ensure that the pipeline is continued. As like us, we've been hired through colleges, and now right now we are the most, like, we are doing our job well. So we should ensure that our current generation also assimilates well with our industry. So that is our job. Everybody should do it. Go to the college nearby, knock the door, and say that I want to be in your curriculum discussion, or I want to decide your curriculum. They will welcome you.
Hello. Yeah, so to add what Mr. Natu just said now, I think many companies are already in line with that, and many companies are having their training school, what earlier used to called as Gurukul. So I belong to SKF India Limited, where we are having a training school called Kushal. Now you just think of a name; it is very aptly named. So Kushal is a training school where we impart them the skills. So when the new joiners are coming up, they are going through 15 days of training on the shop floor, on the job, and also in the training school. They get to know the basics about it, right? And after that, then they get deputed to the actual manufacturing lines where they are having mentors. So after every 3 weeks, they come back and again they share their reflections. So that has already been started, but it again depends from company to company, policy to policy. But yes, eventually in at least some of the spot, it has been definitely started. Not on a definitely a longer horizon.
Huge round of applause for a panel that only brought out a lot of energy, passion, expertise, everything that I could, bring out here. Requesting Raghu to please join me on stage to present the mementos. We would begin with thanking the man who led this discussion, Mr. Amol Natu. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, keep the applause going as we keep presenting the mementos. Mr. Mushtaq Jamal, thank you for joining us today. Mr. Ashish Nemade, thank you. Mr. Parag Apte, thank you so much. And Mr. Rakesh Vaidya, thank you so much. And I would like to say that, I thank every second of the moment when I requested Mr. Amol Natu to moderate this panel and he accepted it. So thank you so much.